Good morning, good morning, good morning. I am just now getting around to having my coffee. How is your morning going? As you're coming in, just give me a shout out. Where in the world are you? I'm trying to finish my coffee real quick because it is not one. I don't know if I need coffee because I'm pretty fired up. Y'all might be like, oh my goodness, what is she on? Coffee. But today, I wanted to take a minute and share a little bit more detail on something that we started yesterday, which was about influencer marketing essentially. What is an influencer and how do you get paid to be one? The reality is, we're all influencers, each and every one of us. If we're out there hustling, creating content, whether it's blog content or social media content, whatever, if we're trying to use social media in particular to attract our person to us, then we're absolutely an influencer. And we have influence in the online space, but we have influence as just a regular person in the real world. I think a lot of times people think that influencers are people with millions of followers, and that is absolutely not the case. It is the case, but it's not the only case. Small communities, people who have, just connected communities, are really, really where the opportunity is right now. A lot of brands are moving to those smaller influencers and wanting to work with those smaller influencers. So if you know someone that is using social media or is creating content on the interwebs, trying to grow their business, please invite them, because this is an opportunity for them to figure out how to monetize their influence. Good morning, Paul. Always glad to see you with us. If you've never been on one of my shows before, my name is Kim Garst. I am an online business marketer, essentially just like you, and been doing this for over 30 years. So I know a thing or two. My passion is really sharing what I know. I am a learn, do, teach kind of influencer. I love to learn new things, do things, and then share them with others so that they can do them as well. So today, like I said, we're going to be talking about the actual process. Like, how do you get the gigs? Like, if I can share with, if you weren't with me yesterday, please feel free to go back and watch yesterday's show where I talked about what's an influencer, and then, how do you get paid? What is a brand looking for these days in order to fall into that category of knowing, one, understanding that you do have influence, and two, that people are willing to pay you for it. So definitely go back and check that out if you weren't with me live. I know I see some repeat viewers from yesterday, so thanks for being with us again today. Like I say, today we're going to dig into it a little bit more, and I'm going to share from my perspective, as well as basically from my perspective of, how I've been able to successfully get brand deals. And basically, traditionally, I'll go back a minute because I've been in the social media space pretty much from day one. I have about 1.5 million social media followers on all the platforms. And and so I would be, what most people call a higher tier influencer. But I have seen such a transition, and it's exciting transition, because as my community, because it's bigger, the bigger your community gets, just by virtue of the dynamics of it, the less engagement you'll ultimately get. And all big brands, all big influencers will tell you this. If you compare stats with, a big influencer versus a small influencer, the engagement rate with small influencers is super tight. It's super, it's amazing how these smaller influencers have such great connection with their community. It's because it's still doable. And I miss those days, actually, where all the faces, you recognize the names. And I still recognize a lot of names in my community, but it's still not the same. Like, I can't engage with 1 million plus people a day, right? So Allison, great to see you, girl. Hope you're doing good today. Again, if you have smaller communities, this is why I really am passionate about sharing what's happening in the space. This is a shift. traditionally in years past, when people would come my way to say, "Hey, we'd like to work with you," and they were looking at my brand from a numbers perspective, and I call those kind of people, call them the broke, only care about eyeballs and follower count. So those are the brands that's kind of the old mentality. It's broke, where they were looking at, look, you've got all these people in your community. It's all about the eyeballs. It's all about, how many followers you have. And a lot of brands there's still brands out there, by the way, that are very attracted to the large numbers. And what I have found is usually when they're attracted to the large numbers, it's probably more about brand awareness than selling things. Okay. Because again, they want to get their message in front of a lot of folks. But there's a whole new brand out there, a whole new movement, maybe is the best way of saying it, where a lot of brands have realized that they're not going to get the result they want with bigger influencers if the result that they want is sales, or it's tied to the money somehow. Because most people, if you're an influencer, the definition of influencer is the ability to influence a buying decision. And those smaller communities have much smaller and more connected communities. They're listening, they're paying attention more on a daily basis to that influencer. So the opportunities for actual conversion is usually richer with those smaller influencers, which is why this is so powerful for all of you guys that are trying to monetize, or maybe you haven't considered doing brand deals before, but this could be another avenue, another revenue stream for you. And anybody can do this. This is absolutely doable for absolutely anyone who has a small connected community. So that said, you still have to have some of the things I talked about yesterday. You still have to have things like reach. How big is your audience? There's such an amazing opportunity for those small communities. I keep saying this, but like if you have like 1,000 followers on Instagram, for example, a lot of brands are gravitating to those really small communities, and they're willing to do business with those, sponsorships or brand gigs with you, because they get 5 times their marketing dollar in return. Well, of course they would do that. Like, can you imagine? By the way, you guys can do this too. You can hire an influencer and get your product or service in front of other people. But the size of your community is going to matter if you're trying to, get a brand gig. But it doesn't have to be huge. That's the beautiful part. You do have to have some good engagement. They're going to look at that, because without engagement, how connected is your community, And then your business has to be relevant to their, whatever it is that they're trying to put in front of your audience. Like a brand wouldn't come, a financial services brand wouldn't want to work with a fitness expert potentially, because it's not in alignment. So you do still have to have that relevance, obviously. And they're all absolutely going to look at your content. Like, do you create quality content? If they are wanting you to show up and share their content in some capacity, whether you're creating new content or sharing something that they've created, they want it to be good stuff. So showing up with good quality content is also powerful. So transitioning though into how do you get the gigs? So like, how many of you guys have ever had a brand gig? I call them gigs because that's, it's like a speaking gig, or it deals. There's lots of different words for it. A lot of people refer to it as a deal. It could be a sponsorship. Like we've had sponsors here, for my Marketing That Grows Your Business show. I've done all kinds of influencer work. I mean, I've worked with brands as big as like MasterCard, all kinds of online tools, physical products. I've done a lot of brand work, influencer kind of stuff. So what I want to share with you today is a, kind of my journey a little bit with this, and then how you leverage it. So I'm just curious if anybody has ever had a brand gig of any kind. And when I say a brand gig, it could be as simple as, hey, a brand reaches out to you. Let's say it's an online tool, and they're like, I see that you are using our tool. We'd like to give it to you for free if you will tell people about it. Or, hey, I've got this product. I'd like you to share it with your community. I'll give it to you. Now, yesterday I cautioned you on this, and I'm going to say it again because it cannot be said enough. That might be how you want to start out, because when I first started out, well, let me say it and then I'll say what I really want to say. Okay. So when I first started out, it was exciting to me to get the free tools and the free cameras or the free, whatever it was. I was like, okay, yeah, I will do that, because I was like, I didn't have to pay for that. And a lot of the tools that I use daily, I don't have to pay for because I love them and I share them. But I wouldn't share them if I didn't love them. I mean, I have to love a product or service before I'm going to tell y'all about it. Because if I can't stand in my own authenticity on something, then I stand the potential of ruining the relationship, the trust factor that I have with my community, right? So I take that very seriously. If I don't love something, I will not put my name on it. So that's super important, and I give you that recommendation. But what I have learned, and this is something that's super powerful for you in the context of just starting out, don't make the same mistake I did. Okay. So don't just accept that you are just going to get the free thing. Negotiate. Get the free thing. Sure. Absolutely. Get the free thing, whatever it is, but charge for your influence. Don't give it away. You've worked hard to build your community. Even if you think, wow, it's just a small community. I don't care if it's 1,000 people. You've worked hard to get there. You just didn't snap your fingers and that happened. You build content every day to support that to community. You show up consistently. You talk to those people. There's a reason that they have a know, like, and trust factor with you. So why would you just say, oh yeah, just give me that, $50 thing and I'll just share, and you could potentially make thousands. You, the brand, could potentially make thousands, but I'm going to get the free thing. That's not a fair deal, is it? So no, you are wanting to make money with this strategy. So my suggestion is you get the free thing, but you charge a fee for it too. Now, in the Authority Creator Program that I'm releasing at the end of the month, we're going to talk about this in a lot more detail, and give the structure, like how do you pitch a brand, how do you negotiate with a brand, give you all the templates, all the things that you'll ultimately need. But I want to give you the knowledge that you can go forward with, and ultimately hopefully educate you enough to where you don't make some of the mistakes that I made. So don't totally buy into the, oh, here's something for free. A lot of smaller influencers do that because it's exciting to get the free thing. But keep in mind that brand normally has to pay. There's a customer acquisition cost for that brand. Normally, they have to pay for their customers. They're coming to you because you've got a community of their customers. And why wouldn't they still have to pay something for that? So they're willing to, but it just goes back to that deal. If somebody comes to you and says, I'll give you this thing for free if you'll do this, and you say yes out the gate, then sure, they're going to take advantage of that. Why wouldn't they? They don't have to pay anything for it. But if you go back and say, well, I'd love the free thing, but this is my rates, then you stand to win. You get the free thing, but you also get cash in hand, and money talks, right? So that is important. And I just wanted to share that real quick. But again, I want to share 3 ways that you actually start to land deals. And when I first started, and I still do this, by the way, because it happens. It's an organic thing. I call it the bump into strategy. This is not a smart strategy if you're trying to be proactive. Okay. But things bump into me all the time. People are doing outreach. They, come my way, whatever. I call that like a random, things just bump into you, right? there's no strategy behind that other than it's just your content speaks for itself. Somebody sees it, randomly you get an outreach, and the opportunity to create a brand deal happens just purely by things bumping around in the interwebs. I say this because, and I share this as a strategy because it will happen. The more you're out there, the more authority you create, the more people see your content, the bigger your community gets. You will have people that will reach out to you. They'll bump into you essentially. And, but it's not an awesome way to consistently drive revenue with brand influencer gigs, right? It's just a random thing. And like I say, this happens to me daily. I get outreach, maybe 10 to 20 emails a day for different things, different opportunities. A lot of times people will want, me to feature them in my blog or all kinds of things. My favorite though is when an outreach and they're like, I need to be on your website. I'm like, that's not really a good way to reach out to me. I'm just saying. So, and I share this because when you start to do outreach, you're going to have to do it in a way that comes across value-based to the brand. Lots of times when people outreach to me, I'm like, yeah, no, because they don't approach it through what's in it for me. They approach it through what's in it for them. So the bump into strategy is going to happen. I share it because you're going to see it. It's going to happen to you again. As the more authority you build, the larger your community is. Especially if you've got great content, you're going to see more and more people reach out to you. So the bump into strategy is one. And curious as if some of you guys have those emails, where people reach out to you and say, hey, I'd like to write for your blog, or hey, I would like to give you my free product if you'll tell people about me, blah, blah, blah. Whatever it is, feel free to share the stories with us. I get, like I said, get all kinds of things. I can pull up my email right now and start reading you some of the outreach I get. So bump into strategy has worked for me, but it has been random, organic, and really just it's kind of messy in some cases. So, but it also happens. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to share it. The second way that you can get brand deals is to join creator platforms. Sometimes people will call them influencer platforms. There's a ton of these out there. So if you just go to the Google machine, you'll find some. In the Creator Authority program that we're releasing towards the end of the month, our goal is to do a whole through research, what's the best ones? Where do you want to put your time and attention? But literally, if you wanted to go, just do some research on creator platforms, you'll find that there's a ton of them out there. My experience with creator platforms has been hit or miss. And this is why I think the opportunity for those smaller accounts is richer. A lot of times with the creator platforms, going back to the two types of brands that are looking now, a lot of brands that are on these creator platforms, they have realized they're trying to connect with the smaller creator. They're trying to connect with those smaller accounts. So I think the opportunity is richer on these creator platforms for the smaller influencer. So definitely if that's something where, and basically what a creator platform is you register, you give them some details about your community, your reach, your numbers, your engagement. Sometimes they ask those questions and sometimes they don't. And they're basically a matchmaking service. So a brand can come to the same creator platform, they can put in what they're looking for, and the opportunity for you to surface in the search results is there. They check you out, they reach out to you, you can do a brand deal like that. So that's what a creator platform is. My favorite way of actually being consistent and getting influencer deals that you control, that you feel good about, that you can consistently have income flowing in using this strategy is outreach. So one of the things that I have found is, like I said before, I want to know that the the thing that I'm sharing, that I am encouraging other people to take a peek at, or that I love, I love great tools. So if you guys have been following me for any length of time, you know I share a lot of great tools. I will reach out to brands that I know I love their stuff already. Like that makes sense to me, right? Like if I like, you know, I don't know, in any brand that I like that specifically in the tool department, I've reached out to and been able to form collaborations or sponsorships, all kinds of, connection around that. And in some cases, I've been able to benefit my communities like that too, where, I've been able to cut deals for my community where they get a better rate because I'm sharing it into my community. Obviously, outreach is a little bit more labor intensive because you have to consistently do it in order to have, it's just like anything else. If you want to lead for a brand deal, you have to either get on a creator platform and hope somebody decides that your platform, your presence in the social space is what they're looking for. That's a little outside of your control, right? It's an opportunity, but it's still a little outside your control. The bump into strategy is still murky at best. But the outreach strategy is something you can control. And you can control it through the lens of, do you already know you like this thing or this product or this service? And you can make suggestions. This is very powerful in the context of doing it through the lens of, how does this matter to the brand? It's really easy to reach out to a brand and say, I love your tool. I'd love to share it with my community. I would love to collaborate with you on a series of YouTube videos around how to use your tool. Are you interested in having a chat? That's very value-based to that brand, right? So outreach is super powerful. In the Authority Creator Program, we're going to be sharing scripts, how you do it. My favorite actually is, doing so with video, because I think that's super powerful. So these are things that you could all do. You could take these ideas, these strategies. The bump into strategy is a random thing, right? That's something that's just going to come your way as you build out your authority. So the bump into strategy. The creator platforms you can do today. Go to Google, sign up for some of these creator platforms. You're still going to have to wait until a brand finds you. So it's almost a little bit of the bump into strategy too, except that you're putting yourself out there. You're in a place where they can find you. But the best strategy of all, in my opinion, is the outreach, and being intentional with connecting to people that or brands that have, things that you love. And you could do it through several different lenses. If you have, you want them to sponsor your podcast or your a video series or whatever, or if you want to collaborate, because collaborate is a very powerful word right now, or use the term co-create. Co-create is another amazing connector for brands these days, because they're looking to basically partner with influencers to co-create content. Content is the king, and they are after that content. So outreaching, try it. Just reach out to a tool or two that you love, and do so from a value-based perspective, not about, hey, I want you to sponsor my thing, or hey, would you be interested in doing a giveaway of your thing? No, do it from how is this going to matter to them? How is it going to give them value? And I think if you do it from that perspective, you're going to be in a much, much better negotiating space. You can get on the phone, get on Zoom, whatever, and you hammer out a deal. Just don't do it for free. Okay. I mean, you could, if you wanted to do a couple of free things, but I really feel like I said before, if you don't value what you've built, then you can't expect a brand to do it. And one of the things that I think is super powerful when you start working with a brand is the longevity of it. It can be short, meaning it's a one-off thing, or they could partner with you long term, and you could have a consistent revenue stream through a very lucrative partnership. But it just has to happen from a place of value from them. And if you devalue that out the gate, then you're not going to make money, right? If you say, oh, I'll do this for free, then how are you going to come back and say, well, I can't do that anymore for free? You're going to have to charge me. It puts you at a huge disadvantage out the gate. Okay. So, all right. And don't forget, tomorrow I'm doing a whole series of these this week and potentially next week too, on this whole authority/influence kind of thing. Tomorrow I'm going to be talking about, let me just tell you real quick, I think I've got it pulled up here, what the topic for tomorrow is going to be. The topic for tomorrow, hang on, I've got it pulled up here, is, how do you actually pitch a brand? I mean, I talked about it a little bit today, pitching a brand to get those sponsorship deals. But there is a science to it, and it has to be value-based. So we'll dig into that more tomorrow. And if you are interested in, either creating revenue for yourself as a creator, or supporting the creator with the things that they need in their business to monetize, to help them monetize their authority, then join the wait list. We're going to be releasing the Authority Creator later in the month. Essentially, it's a business opportunity for people who want a business in a box, and want to become an Authority Creator consultant. Or if you are a creator and you can't afford to hire somebody to do the things for you, but you need to know how to do the things, then it will also be a perfect fit for you. So get on the wait list. Love to have you, and you'll learn more about the program as it evolves. I think it launches on the 22nd of this month. But in the meantime, definitely take a peek at some of the things that I shared with you today, and start thinking. I really want you to start thinking about the opportunity to monetize the authority or influence that you are building in your business. Or if you haven't monetized it, which is what I see happening quite frequently, then now may be the time to wake up and smell the opportunity, because there's such a great opportunity. It's richer than it ever has been, and it doesn't require big communities. It's literally for anyone who's been hustling, building a connected community that has that small, even if it's a small community, it doesn't matter anymore. It used to matter. It doesn't matter anymore. Brands are looking to do business with the smaller creators. So get on the wait list, and we'll see you tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. We're going to talk about the pitch. All right. Y'all take care of yourself, stay safe, and God bless.